whether it's their roster, whether it's Rod Brind'Amour style, I don't think that they have enough of malleability. I don't think they can adjust on the fly to win these series when things change.
The Hurricanes are in such a weird spot because we've said a bunch of times this was supposed to be a retooling year, and then they traded for Taylor Hall and Mikko Rantanen, and everything started moving so fast, and they looked so good this season, and they showed that they can just lose defensemen and replace them, and Freddie Anderson was really good to begin the postseason, and you're like, fuck, maybe I think this is the year. I think they're going to beat the Capitals. They beat the Capitals easily, and you're like, shit, yeah, like maybe this could be the year. And then no, it's the Eastern Conference Final, and I don't know if it's a mental thing or what it is, or maybe it's just that the Panthers didn't really take 7 games to get through the last round, and they really were just like, we're going to be fine. We'll turn it on next round. But this is so lopsided. It's not, I texted you before the game on Saturday. I said, I will give anything for this to be an interesting game. And it was kind of interesting for a little bit, but no, it's always a blowout.
Yeah, and like I definitely give more credit to Florida than I say Carolina sucks. They're not meant for this, blah, 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 blah. Like they're running into an absolute juggernaut that is perfect to just take advantage of the style that they play and what they lack maybe in terms of upper echelon talent, in terms of toughness, and, exposing the goaltending that maybe wasn't amazing. What I will say is that I think based off of assuming that the series closes out looking like it does right now, I think Carolina does have to take a note from what Florida did, which is a few years ago, Florida realized that they had a great season, won the President's Trophy, played with a lot of flash, played with a lot of skill, and then got to the playoffs and figured out it just wasn't going to work for them. And then they took very, very bold moves to reshape the identity of their team and to put themselves in a position to win playoff games. And when I say that Florida is the most impressive playoff team that I've seen in the last handful of years or whatever it is, that means that they are simply built for this. They have high-end talent. They're so tough. They're so relentless. They can roll 4 lines. They can kick the shit out of you. They can wear you down over the course of a series. They can defend well. They can get the goaltending. Their special teams good. They can do it all, and they can win games in so many different fashions. They can win games that look differently from night to night. And I just don't think that Carolina has that ability because they're kind of a one-trick-ish pony. Like their one trick is really good, especially during the regular season. But when you get to the playoffs and the games change and they look different from night to night, I don't think that whether it's their roster, whether it's Rod Brind'Amour style, I don't think that they have enough of malleability. I don't think they can adjust on the fly to win these series when things change. And I think they need to look at what Florida did and they need to make those changes and not in a blow it up sense. Like they don't have to trade their best player like Florida did with a Jonathan Huberdeau. Like I don't think that there's going to be a Matthew Tkachuk for Carolina to go out and get, but you need to go out and get players that allow you to play with different identities.
So that's what I was going to say. Like obviously they can't do what the Panthers did, but are they the team that offer sheets Matthew Nyes? Because is there are you trading Svechnikov? Like what's I don't look at their roster and I say, here's the big move they can make, because the big crazy move they can make was already made. They traded Martin Necas and Jack Drury for Mikko Rantanen, and I would do that trade every day of the week. Good trade.
That's why we loved it at the time.
Yeah, it was a risk, but they got burned.
What I know, Canes fans probably don't want to hear it, but what you brought up, I think earlier, is interesting. That if you were to say that the Canes from last year, all they really did was they got rid of Necas and they added Stankoven. And obviously they had they got a goalie, all that stuff. But the team's not remarkably better. The moves that they made ultimately weren't moves for this year. They replaced Necas with a rookie and Taylor Hall. That's not necessarily what you would think would be the things that would get you over the hump in 1 year. Obviously have other changes to make, because I made a comparison where they remind me of Syracuse basketball with the zone, where They kind of just fuck people up for a while because they don't know how to play the zone, and they get to a team that does, and then they don't look like they belong there at all. And everyone else is like, well, damn, maybe someone else should have been there. But that's just kind of how it goes.
So a question off it that is going to happen if they get swept, and Rod Brind'Amour says that they are not swept. And I swear to God, if I were in the press conference, I'd be like, yo, like, can you confirm that was a sweep?
If he does say that, he should get fired.
100%. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, if he even comes close to that sort of neighborhood after this year, you got to go.
Do you think that his seat should be warm?
I don't think so.
Probably not. But like the statement, like if he were to say something along the lines of it wasn't that bad or whatever, like that shows me not necessarily, I mean, partially a lack of accountability, but like also a lack of like understanding what the fuck is going on. And that's way more concerning to me. I obviously don't think he's a bad coach, though.
I get the frustration with Brind'Amour, and I think that there is like now more attention paid to his inability to adjust, whereas like in years past, people were just like, he's the darling of the NHL, he's the coach that everybody would want, and like, maybe that's true. Maybe, still, yeah. Maybe
I still don't know if it's true,
but like. I don't think there's any reason to consider firing him. I don't think there's any reason why his seat should be hot. I think he's had too much success there. It's just he's running into like this year. I don't necessarily put it on Brind'Amour. Like they ran into the Panthers, and the Panthers are dogs. I wish that it looked better for Carolina at this point. I wish they were putting up any sort of fight. But again, like I think that you got to give it a little bit of time. They have a little bit more time, and they have more assets that they can use to improve. Like this could be a big summer for them.
A lot of cap space.
They've got $28 million in cap space. They've got 4 first-round picks over the next 3 years. If they want to improve and they really want to change and reinforce what they have there, they can absolutely do it.
Had you brought up Marner to Carolina before?
Oh yeah, that was that like once he didn't do it at the deadline, I think people thought that
I just go after him. Makes so much sense. Because
no, but I think it makes too much sense. I think he fits too much into
like what they
their
already
profile right
fair
now.
Enough,
and what I'm saying is they don't need more of those guys.
If Sam Bennett was good,
Sam Bennett.
No, like if Sam Bennett was good, like Sam Bennett.
Like,
I know he's good, but like if
good.
Sam Bennett was like worth what he's going to get,
but if there's any team that's going to pay Sam Bennett $10 million, why? I agree. No team should want to pay Sam Bennett $10 million. But if there's a team where it makes sense to pay him $10 million, it might as well be the Hurricanes because he's bringing an element and an edge that they don't have. He fills a position which they absolutely need. Whether you want to argue that he would be their 1C or not, like I think there are valid questions. I think there are valid questions right now as to whether Sebastian Aho is like a true number 1 center, especially in the playoffs. So if you have a 1A, 1B kind of situation with 2 extremely different players, they're closer.
Yeah, they lost a lot of center depth when they made that trade for Rantanen because they lost Jack Drury as well. If the contract's not crazy, yes. But do you think that Sam Bennett is going to get whatever offer he gets from Carolina, and he's going to go back to Florida and be like, you can't come within $2 million a year of this? Yeah. Come on.
I know you said this the other day, but it's just been I think he'd be making such a mistake. Like not a mistake because it will get paid, but from like a hockey perspective, he'd be making such a mistake to leave Florida. Like he just seems like it's not going to get any better for him. And it's not going to get any better for the team that employs him than it is for him and the Florida Panthers currently.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you, though. Like, Sam Bennett would be great for that roster, but I don't know if overpaying a guy who's fresh off of maybe 2 straight cups is...
I mean...
And we're also talking about Eric Tulsky here. I think that Eric Tulsky is going to evaluate Sam Bennett for what he is.
Yeah.
And he's probably not going to be the guy who emotionally overpays Sam Bennett, especially after like 1 playoff run.
How much value would you place on getting him the fuck out of the way? Like taking him on so he can't be a problem for you. Even like overpaying slightly for that on top of
Yankees and Red Sox used to sign guys out of fear that the Yankees or Red Sox were going to sign them.
Yeah. And like I get that you could just like
cap though.
What's that?
That's without a cap.
Yeah, true.
But like Sam Bennett obviously would be a valuable player, maybe not $10 million valuable, but like, and you could always have someone else. But like, if you're the Hurricanes, for example, do you want to risk him going to the Maple Leafs and him being the solution there, or staying with Florida and him continuing to be what they are? Like,
yeah,
if you
I mean,
swing it, why not?
Sam, we agreed last week. Sam Bennett's probably like an $8 million player on the market.
Yeah.
But if you're paying a couple $1 million for him to change the identity and kind of the culture of your team, especially in the playoffs. Number 2, take him away from what is potentially your biggest threat in that Eastern Conference final again next year or years down the road. Like, I think there's reason to consider it being worth it.
We all silly like the mayor.